Hi, and welcome to Alaskan in Thailand. I'm here in Hua Hin Beach again, 6 a.m. Beautiful morning, sun's just coming up. Looks like there's going to be a few clouds, but it won't last long. It'll burn off and be hot here in another hour. Uh, Today I thought I'd tell you all about my budget, how much my budget has been. I've been here 8 months now, so I really don't pay attention, but I can write down my expenditures and go by that. I actually spend like a drunken sailor. Sometimes I shouldn't. I lived my whole life working back in Alaska. I always had businesses where I was buying fish by cash or buying fur, sometimes cash, antlers, sometimes cash. So I was walking around with stacks of $100 bills this thick, just peeling them off for everybody. So money to me is like monopoly money. It's basically a tool to get what you need. I don't treat it like I should and be a little better with it. So I kind of squander. I go to 7-Eleven, buy junk food and stuff when I get hungry after dinner or in the evenings and stuff. So I don't stick to a budget exactly. But I can give you what I do spend and give you guys an idea of how you could spend yourself and live cheaper than me if you wanted to. And I'm not really that extravagant. Most people probably have a bigger budget than I do. But anyway, here, let's dive in, see what I'm paying here. So this is just for this past month, and not paying attention to every dime, but I'm rounding it out pretty close. And be sure to check my math. I'm terrible at math. Like I said, I was a fish buyer and a fur buyer and all this. I made all kinds of mistakes, and math mistakes. I'm pretty dumb. I failed math class my whole life. And then I ended up having to use it my whole life. That's just my luck. But anyway, starting off with rent, I pay $340. That's 11,000 baht, Thai baht per month for my studio apartment. And I got to add in, there's ATM fees if I take this out of the ATM. So I'm adding $6 onto that. That's for an ATM fee of $340. You can get close to $1,000. You can get 30,000 baht at one whack out of an ATM. So that's what you do. You get the biggest amount of money to save you the charges if you can. But anyway, I'll start off with that, and that's $340 plus the $6 ATM fee. And I got my electric. She called me down for electric, and I was a bit worried this month because I knew I'd use some AC more than I ever have. This May has been the hottest month. You know, it's the hot season here in Thailand. So the first month I kick my aircon on. Every time I come home like now I'm already sweating. When I get home, I'll kick the aircon on, but I don't leave it on very long, maybe a half hour. And I'm fine. I keep the door closed and it stays cool in there for a few hours. I don't even have to, I have a fan, and with the fan on, I'm plenty cool once I stop sweating from walking or whatever, you know. So and then when I sleep in the evening, I'll turn it on before I go to bed for another half hour just to cool off the room, and I shut it off. I never leave it on all day. I never sleep with it on ever. So I'm just using it part-time. I'd say I turn it on 4 times a day for a half hour a day, so that's like 2 hours. And I have electric water heater. I take a shower every day, and they're pretty efficient. But anyway, this last May's bill was $16.50 US, 560 Thai baht, and it comes to $16.50 US. That's pretty good. Without the AC, I only pay like $6 or less than $10 a month, but with the AC, it kicked it up to $16.50. This is actually the biggest electric bill I've ever had. I can deal with under $20 electric bill, you know, no problem there. And then my water bill, I haven't been getting a water bill when I moved in, and I haven't got one for like 2 months. And then she finally gave me one earlier this month, and it was for 2 months. I didn't realize. I guess she forgot to give me the water bill. But that water bill was between 111 and 150 baht. So that's super cheap too. That's like $3 and $5 or less, you know. So $3 or $4.50 or something like that. So it's less than $5 a month for water, for me anyway. I shower every day. I do my laundry in the sink by hand. So I'm running the water when I'm doing the laundry too. So I'm actually using quite a bit of water, but not actually using a washing machine. Shower and wash. I shower every day and wash my clothes every day. So that's my water usage was only $5. You know, that's pretty good. That's living cheap. Back in Alaska where I was from, it was $30 a month to get water. Of course, I had a well. I didn't pay for water, but and then my visa. If you guys are here doing just like a visa run or plan to do a visa run, you're going to be here, you know, 6-8 months, and you're just going to try to don't worry about a visa and try to just pay your way. You can do a couple border runs, and that'll get, you know, when you come, you get 3 months, or you get 2 months, and then you can extend for another 30 days. And then you can do you can do 2 border runs and extend each of those for 90 days. So you can stay like 8 months without ever having to really leave, other than the border runs. If you know, just taking a trip for the day, you can do that. So, but when you factor that border run plus the extension money, the extension's like, you know, 950 baht, that's $30 almost. And so I figure that, and then your border run's $150, and that gets you 2 months, so 75. You just round it off to 75. Actually, 1 month will be 60. The extension months will be 60, but yeah, you can say 75 a month for your visa if you're here doing border runs or running in and out of the country. And then transportation. I really, honestly, I don't have any transportation cost. I don't rent a motorbike. I don't go anywhere really. I can walk to everywhere I'm going. So that's what I do. I walk to the malls, and I'm just staying in my central little location here. I have everything I need. If I do need to travel, I could get on a bus for 20 baht, 15 baht, I think. And you can, you know, that's less than, you know, that's like 30 cents. And you can go anywhere quite a ways in the town, and they'll drop you off at different ends of town or at hospitals. If they hit all the malls, all the big beaches and stuff. So you can travel real cheap. And a motorbike ain't that much either. It's like 60 bucks a month. You can rent a motor scooter if you want to ride one of them. I don't trust myself, and I'm afraid I get hurt, killed, and kill somebody else or something. So I stay off them for now. So my transportation, zero. I kind of like it. Gets me out walking too, keeps me healthy. You know, if I was riding everywhere, I'd jump on and go to the mall with a scooter, jump on, go to get some food with the scooter. Now I walk to the mall, and I walk to go get food. So it's, you know, I like hunting for my food. That's one thing I normally did, and I still like to do it. And then my food. My food is my biggest expense, believe it or not. I could eat cheaper. I do eat pretty cheap actually, but you could eat even cheaper if you want. You could eat like 50 baht meals. They have them all over, 40 baht meals. They're like $1.50 or so. I eat a lot. I only eat once. I start eating only after like 6 o'clock, 5 or 6. Lately it's been 6 o'clock is my first meal of the day. That's my breakfast, dinner, and lunch. And from 6 o'clock I'll stuff myself. Literally, I'll eat a big meal. And then even before I go to bed, I'll eat another snack, a banana and something, or some peanut butter or something. I'll always eat again before I go to bed. And then I wake up and I'm not hungry all day, and that's been my routine. But I do buy snacks and stuff when I do eat, I buy some snacks, peanuts and things like that, cake once in a while. But yeah, I mostly eat all street food. I can eat the same food day in and day out. It don't bother me, and I kind of prefer to do it like at home. I can eat moose one day, salmon the next day geese, and then go back to moose, and I just do a cycle of that. It's kind of what I do here too. I have barbecued chicken one day, the next day I'll have fish and Thai noodle food, and next day I'll eat at McDonald's. I do eat junk food McDonald's because it's beef, and I miss beef. And the steaks here are kind of thin. I don't like cooking so much in my room, so I've been eating beef. If I eat beef, a lot of times it's like a double quarter pounder, and that'll hit you, set you back. I'll eat 2 burgers, it'll be like 10 bucks at McDonald's. So that's my expense. And then if I go to the night market, I can eat cheap, and that's usually what I do. I can buy a 130 baht meal there. So that's only like $4.50, and I can get a 100 baht pizza. That's only a $3 pizza. So you can live really cheap if you don't eat much. Like I have friends here, they don't eat much at all. They don't spend as much as I do. But I figure $20 a day for my food. And I'm adding in tissue with that. I do eat tissue and toothpaste, which you don't buy every day, but I'll add it in because I do use quite a bit of tissue, and you'll see the reason why. I have to carry around wads of tissue in my pocket if I walk anywhere, so I don't, when I'm starting to sweat, I can dap it off. Everyone in the Philippines, they carry a rag, a sweat rag. I used to do that too, but I hate carrying a wet, soaked rag of sweat around, so I'm just carry tissue now and throw it away when it's wet. But anyway, at $20 a day, it's 30 days. That's $600. That's quite a bit of money, you know. That's quite a bit of my budget, most of my budget right there. More than twice, almost twice my rent, you know, close to. So yeah, you could get that down easier. And if you're shopping for food and cooking yourself, you could get it way down lower than that too if you wanted. So that's my basic expenses. And be sure to check my math, but that comes to so far at $1,042 per month. And I know there's Thais here that live for $400 a month, and there's probably people from Europe and other places that have low Social Security that are making it on $600 or $800 a month, and I bet you could. Maybe $800 is probably the bare minimum. I wouldn't even try it unless you had a bunch of savings too, you know. But if you pinched your pennies, you could keep it under $600 or $800 probably. Without actually pinching pennies so much. So yeah, $1,042 per month here in Hua Hin, living at a $340 rent, you know, and $16 electric, water $4 under $5, my $75 visa, and $600 in food. That comes to $1,042, and that's just the basics, you know. Now, if you add in a girlfriend like I do, I bring out a girl. She's not technically a girlfriend. She's just a friend. I bring her out twice a week or once a week. Usually we'll make a trip on, she'll take a day off, and that'll cost me around $60. We'll rent her brother as a Grab driver, and we'll drive off 20 miles that way or something, and he'll spend the whole morning and day with us and bring us back for $30. And then I'll buy us dinner. You know, usually we'll have her brother, and maybe her friend. She'll always pick up a friend, so we have dinner somewhere. There'll be 3 or 4 of us, and that'll be another close to $30, 800 baht or so. So I figured about 600, $60, $60 a week for her. So that's another, what, 200, you know, that's $200 a month, or no, more than that. My math's off on that one, I see. Yeah, so probably you could figure $50 anyway. It'd be another $200 a month to have a girlfriend. And that's just seeing her once a week. Dating too. That ain't like a live-in girlfriend, which probably wouldn't be that much more. And she'd probably save you money. She'd probably know where to shop and how to cook and stuff. The horse. And she'd save you money, no doubt. Yeah, she's gonna ride the horse. And then so that's another 200 I'm not adding. And then coffee, things like that. Like I'm starting to get addicted to these iced coffees. I have an iced coffee every day, and the iced coffee's 65 baht. I give them a 20 baht tip, so it's almost 100 baht. It's 90 or 85 baht when I'm done. And you times that by, you know, that's like getting close to $3 a coffee, you know, and you times that by 30 days and you're getting a $90 coffee bill, you know, so you can add that on too. See, just a small thing, a small habit can add up more, you know, like if you smoke cigarettes, that's going to add to your bill. If you drink whiskey or drink beer, that's going to add to you considerably too. So that's just things I didn't add because them are your own, you know, if you got the money to do that, you ain't worried about your basics of rent and all that. So I'm just giving it to the guys that really want to figure out what their rent and all that could be. And yeah, you can live cheap here. You really can have some money away for your emergency, or at least enough to just get yourself out of here for sure when you need to. So you got to have that. You can live here pretty cheap in Hua Hin, Thailand. You know, it's probably the same in the Philippines too. I think my living here is a lot better than it would be over in the Philippines. And actually, the Philippines was getting expensive. You know, my rent over there was $450 a month. Electric was 30 or 40 a month too. So it was more expensive to live in the Philippines than it is here in Hua Hin anyway, where I'm staying here. It might be different other areas, but I can live pretty cheap here. So far, I'm staying into my budget. you know, I'm pretty close. So I'd like to even trim it down a little more if I could. We'll see, or bring up more income, which hopefully the YouTube will do. I'll bring in more income. I can take more trips and exploit more of the city and see more things and visit more places. But that we'll see. That's no hurry. No, I'm no hurry for that. I'm happy to be making it here, living within my budget, not going bankrupt, and still living a good, great life. I think, you know, this is, to me, this is paradise. I have no complaints at all. Well, that's my budget for this past May. I don't know if you guys can live on it or not. Maybe it'll cost you a little more, or some can do it on a little less. But that's mine, and I'm sticking to it. Well, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one. I'll give you a look around before I shut her down. Got some horseplay going on over here. Ever see a horse yawn? We'll see you in the next one.